Sinister Stay. The air conditioner wheezed, breaking the eerie silence of the large room. As I unpacked, a strange feeling of being watched crept over me. I looked around at the plain beige walls and messy bedspread. The feeling was like an itch on my neck that wouldn't stop. A cold gust swept the room and the bedside lamp turned off, leaving me in darkness. I reached for my phone, its dim light a small comfort. The battery indicator blinked, just 2%. Great timing in an isolated and unfamiliar place. The air conditioner started up again, bringing with it a burst of cool air and a soft hum. A low moan sounded around me, seeming to come from within the vents. My heart pounded against my chest like it wanted out. I managed to convince myself that there was no need for concern. It was only the wind blowing into the air conditioning unit. Right? But that disturbing feeling of being watched grew stronger. There, in the darkness beyond my phone's weak light, I thought I saw movement, a fleeting shadow on the bare wall. Fear took hold as I got out of bed and fumbled for the light switch. The bright fluorescent light chased away shadows, revealing nothing but harmless vents hanging overhead. I felt relieved until my eyes fell on my phone. An unfamiliar font spelled out one word: welcome. A gut-twisting nausea rooted itself in my stomach. The low hum from the air conditioner got louder and the ceiling vents shook. Then crash. The vents opened, releasing a black mist that pulsated with an unusual energy. Coughing and struggling to breathe, I stepped back. My phone fell to the floor. The mist morphed into weird shapes that swayed at the edges of my vision. Whispers filled the room, speaking in a strange tongue that made absolutely no sense to me. Panic pushed me toward the door, but when I touched the handle, it disintegrated in my hand. I was stuck. The whispers grew louder and louder, and the mist formed figures with glowing red eyes that stared right into me. I screamed as adrenaline rippled through my body. There had to be a way out. My eyes landed on a tall, narrow window, at this point, my only hope of escape. I threw a chair at the glass, then climbed through the jagged opening. I'd never been so happy to be on the first floor of a building. I ignored the cuts on my clothes and body, desperately wiggling myself to the ground below. Noises sounded behind me and the whispers turned into growls. There was no way I was facing whatever horrors were inside that room. Without looking back, I pushed through a patch of thick foliage. The whispers echoed faintly in my ears. Exhausted and overwhelmed, I collapsed to the ground and everything around me went pitch black. I awoke to the worried faces of a search party who had found me delirious and mumbling about monsters and whispers. They dismissed the episode as the rumblings of an exhausted man under way too much stress. Back home, I told myself that it was all a dream, just an illusion manifested by sleep deprivation and the long drive. But the memory of whispers and red eyes stayed in my mind no matter what I did. I looked up the hotel online but found nothing but good reviews. No mention of anything weird or unexplained events. It seemed like the experience was all in my head until a few days later. An email arrived in my inbox with a subject line that sent an electric chill down my spine. Thank you for your stay. The email held a single unsettling image, a distorted view of the room I'd occupied. The walls were bent in ways that defied physics, and shadows pooled in the corners like predators lying in wait. Two red eyes glowed from the center of this madness, staring directly into the lens. With too many questions left for closure, I found myself back at that cursed place. The hotel looked the same from the outside, but there was no way I was going inside this time. Instead, I approached the manager, a man with an unremarkable smile and an equally unimpressive personality. I stayed here recently, I said. I need to ask. He interrupted me before I could finish my question. Ah, yes, room 13, he replied, overly cheerful. Such a lovely room, we're glad you liked your stay. There was something wrong, I insisted. The vents, the whispers. His gaze wavered for just a second, a momentary lapse in his indifference before an eerie grin came to his face. He laughed off my concerns. Those are just wind whispers. They can be quite convincing at times. His words hit me hard, forcing me to face the reality I'd feared. The Sunview Inn was more than an old hotel with noisy floors and stale rooms. It housed a dangerous being within its vast vent system. My heart raced as I stepped back, aware that sharing my find would only lead to ridicule. Who would believe such a grim story? But there it was, a secret tying me to that damned place. The truth weighed on me, heavy like lead. Even if the whispers didn't invade my dreams each night, They were always there, reminders of unseen horrors. I started watching the news constantly, looking for signs of another missing person, another victim of Room 13's terror. At night, I thought I heard those whispers again, a haunting sound from places humans should avoid. These whispers now held something more. They had a name. A stark reminder of the night I discovered that not everything is as it seems. Hidden dangers can lurk in the most ordinary places. Room 428. When I told the receptionist I wanted room 428, he went pale and stuttered out a question. His nervousness didn't register with me. I was too focused on my thoughts. I took the worn key from him, unaware of the room's dark past. If I had, I would have left immediately. I was in Timberline for work, a small mountain town where we were considering a construction site. The Ardsley Lodge was my temporary home, an old hotel that had seen better days. It wasn't fancy, but it suited me just fine. The hallways were dimly lit and creaky, and my room was at the end of one of them. When I unlocked the door to room 428, I found an outdated interior, dark wood walls and heavy drapes that blocked out most of the light. There was an old dresser with a tilted mirror reflecting my confused face under poor lighting conditions. As I moved to open the curtains, a shadow passed across the mirror. It made me feel uneasy, but I brushed it off as exhaustion playing tricks on me. I decided to get some food from the hotel restaurant. When I came back later that night, something felt off as soon as I opened the door to room 428. My skin broke out in goosebumps. Something was wrong, but I couldn't quite put my finger on what it was until I saw cracks all over the dresser mirror. Feeling sick, I ran into the bathroom. When I returned to the bedroom, words etched into the dresser mirror stopped me in my tracks. "Get out." I quickly left room 428 and told reception what happened. They reluctantly gave me a new key along with a warning. That night wasn't restful. The lights in the corridor flickered as if they might go out at any moment. Every little noise set me on edge. Around 3 a.m., a scream echoed through the halls and I heard footsteps outside my room. The next morning, I packed my things and left Ardsley Lodge as fast as I could. A few days later, curiosity got the better of me and I looked up the history of the lodge online. What I found still haunts me to this day. 40 years ago, a man named Lyle Parker had killed his family and 3 other guests in room 428. The police discovered him with his hand covering his eyes, holding a hunting knife amidst walls adorned with bizarre symbols that said, "The darkness has risen." He claimed he'd accessed the desolate void, an eternal realm of torment that existed alongside our world, causing him to physically disintegrate into darkness itself. His institutionalization and subsequent death at the age of 86 ended whatever terror he'd brought into this world. Night after night, I am haunted by terrifying nightmares filled with screams and dark shapes. I can't shake the feeling that somehow I have awoken a dormant force and it has set its sights on me. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. See you next time. Thank you for watching.